Hi, COCA. I'm Dave Kelly, the Student Leadership Trainer, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this virtual Student Life Summit. Thank you for watching this recording and visiting my virtual exhibit hall booth. This recording will show you some of the programs that I have, ways that we can work together, and even give you a flavor of what it'll look like when I present for your students. I've been a professional speaker now for 16 years, primarily for college and university students. I've spoken more than 600 times on over 300 college and university campuses. I've done over 140 virtual programs just since August for college students. And I love to do that. And I feel like I'm a very confident presenter, either in person or virtually. But it wasn't always that way. When I first began, I can remember being at a school where I was waiting to go in to talk to the students. And I could see them because there was a window in the door. And I looked in and I could see that the students were sitting there, some of them just staring straight ahead, a few of them talking, some of them poking each other, doing things that students do. And then from inside the room, I heard, "And now, boys and girls, welcome Mr. Kelly." And I went to face the most hostile and volatile of audiences possible, 5-year-olds. I was actually at an at-risk elementary school to read to kids as part of my Kiwanis Club's reading program. Kiwanis is a community service group. So I strode into the room and all the little people were sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor. Do you remember doing that? Are some of you doing that now? And then I sat in the reader's chair, which was designed for a 5-year-old. And I looked at the kids and I said, "Hi, boys and girls. I'm Mr. Kelly, and I'm from the Kiwanis Club, and I'm here to read to you today. Does everybody like guest readers?" And some of the hands shot up. Then they looked around and they went back down again. And then a few of the hands started to come up again. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be in good shape here. One little girl off to the side still had her hand up. And I said, "Yes, sweetie, do you have a question?" And she said, "I'd like Cat in the Hat." I hadn't brought Cat in the Hat that day, so I thought I might be in trouble. And then a little boy off to the side still had his hand up. And I said, "Yes, do you have a question?" And he said, "We have 3 cats." And I looked over at the teacher for help, and she had her hands in her face in some sort of self induced coma. And I knew I was on my own. So I thought I better go with the book that I always read to my daughters when they were growing up, the one that I loved the best, Green Eggs and Ham. And so I started reading to the kids. I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am. That Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. And all of the kids were with attention, just like you are, waiting for more pictures from the book, right? Sorry, not any today. But I'm reading along, and this guy whose name we never learned, he's talking about how he won't eat the green eggs and ham with a mouse and in a house, and he won't eat them here or there. He won't eat them. And then the kids shouted out, "Anywhere." I thought, awesome, they've read the book. And then he says, "I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them." And the kids shouted out, "Sam, I am." And I'm thinking, this is great, audience participation. And now I'm really excited. I'm reading about the fox and the box and the goat and the boat and the rain and the train and all these places that this guy says he won't eat the green eggs and ham. And the kids are shouting, "Anywhere." And "Sam, I am." And they're getting louder and louder. So loud, in fact, that the first grade teacher from across the hallway came over and asked me if I could quiet the children down. And I looked at her and I said, "Are you kidding me? I'm on a roll here." And so we finally got to that one page in the book where the guy agrees to eat the green eggs and ham if Sam will leave him alone. And it's the only page without any words on it where he's holding the fork and the egg is hanging off of it. And if there was a word, I think that word would have just been ill. But then he eats the egg and he loves it. And he tells Sam how much he loves it. And he'll eat them in all those places that he said he wouldn't. And then he gets to the end and he says, "I do so love green eggs and ham. Thank you, thank you." And the kids shouted out, "Sam, I am." And I was hooked. And I've been reading to those kids now for 20 years. Not the same kids. They've grown up, gotten a little older. This is a picture of me with the kids a few years ago. I love that picture because I get paid in hugs. And the lower picture is me with their teacher. In that first picture, I don't know why Danelle there in the yellow shirt is screaming, because if you look right under his chin, there's a little face there. Poor little Amanda is just getting crushed. And off to the right, there is a young man there with a big smile and he's wearing a red t-shirt. This is a kindergarten class, and he was in that class. And I found out that his teacher, Miss G, who's in this picture with me, that when he was in the class, she found out that his family was homeless and his mother did not have a job. And so she became an adoptive godmother for them, and she helped them get an apartment and helped mom get a job. And she continued to support this young man, Lenward, and his sisters throughout their time in school. And this past fall, how I found out about that whole story, this past fall, Miss G posted on her Facebook post that she had driven him to college, and he is now a college freshman. And I just think that is so great. She is a great example of a serving leader. And in my program, Building Leaders Through Service, I talk about serving leadership. And I use examples of great serving leaders from around the world and throughout time. I think in this quote, Dr. King is telling us that our greatness will be determined by our service. And then Mother Teresa, now known as Saint Teresa of Calcutta, I think she's telling us that little things mean a lot. Those little things that we do to serve others, whether in leadership roles or in our daily lives. And these are not new ideas. These have been around for thousands of years. The idea that we're not here to be served, but to serve others. And whenever we get that opportunity, we have to take it. Like Gandhi said, we never know when we're going to pass this way. We may never pass this way again. So we have to take those opportunities to serve. And even though the person that we serve may never be able to pay us back, hopefully they'll pay it forward. In this program, I talk about 4 qualities and 4 areas of serving leadership: dignity of the individual, how we treat one another, sacrifice and integrity, um, the way that we do things, the way we act as leaders, sometimes when no one's looking, recognition, who are we and where are we going, and responsible stewardship. What do we do with what's been given to us? See, for me, there is a distinction. It's a distinction between service and serving us. I like to tell students, if you're asking what's in it for me, you're asking the wrong question. Serving leadership, the foundation of my Building Leaders Through Service program. So what problems does this solve? Student engagement, getting students involved with each other and serving others, particularly as we reopen from this pandemic. Retention, keeping students engaged and involved, getting them back involved after a year or more off campus. Uh, Developing their leadership abilities through service. That's how I feel I really develop my leadership abilities and talents. Getting them focused on others, not just inwardly. Now, this isn't to be to their detriment. They're not to become a doormat for somebody else, but the idea that we think about others first, that makes us a true leader right there. Where could you use this program? Everywhere. New student orientation. I do this program a lot because I talk about engagement and getting involved on campus. For Parents Weekend, for Day of Service programs, sometimes I'll do the program in the morning and the students will go out and serve in the afternoon. Or we'll have 2 groups and they'll flip flop. And I actually do the program twice in the same day. You can use this for leadership conferences, for retreats and other events. Serving leadership is such an important aspect of student leadership. And that's not the only thing that I talk about. I talk about other things like parliamentary procedure, how to run meetings, how to call them to order. You can hit a gavel, you can ring a bell, you can smack a freshman, whatever you want to do to, please don't smack a freshman, to get your meetings in order. And what I do though is I don't try to teach you the whole book of parliamentary procedure. I teach you what you need to know for student government and other clubs and organizations based on my experiences, both as a student leader in SGA and also as an international president for a collegiate service group when I was a student, and other leadership roles that I've had, and as an advisor. So this is going to be tools that you can use no matter where you are in your leadership experience. Talking about membership recruitment and retention, this is going to be vital as students are coming back to campus, as they're re-engaging, reintroducing themselves for some students have never even been on your campus. So we want to get them involved, and the ones that have been there, keep them. I'm going to teach you secrets of motivation and delegating authority if you pick that program when I present for your students. Getting students to get others engaged by delegating responsibilities to them. And that's how you build future leaders for organizations. uh, being someone who gets along well with others, dealing with conflict and drama on campus. We don't like that. It's not fun for us, but we have to deal with it at times. And so this is one of these are all of some of my most popular programs. This one, along with Parliamentary Procedure, are my two most requested. And then the very popular one this past year has been Be a Positive Force for Change as a Visionary Leader. As students are becoming more engaged and involved and on their campus, in their community, in issues related to social justice and other areas, how to go about it in a positive way that affects change. So what problems does this solve? Lots of them. Helping students develop their leadership roles, their leadership abilities, how to grow as a student, how to grow as a member of your community, as a member of your nation, as a member of the world community. These are things that will help them that they can use their entire lives. Your meetings on campus will run better after they know how to use parliamentary procedure in their organization. Not enough to blow their minds, but so that people know what's going on and how to get things done in organizations. There are so many ways that this can help your campus, these programs and others that I have, that you can make a difference by engaging with me, doing workshops, by having leadership conferences that I speak at or do breakout sessions for retreats. I do lots of student government retreats, retreats for clubs and organizations, for residence hall leaders, for programming boards. I'm engaged in a lot of areas on campus and have been throughout my time. One of the things I've been doing this past year has been offering a virtual student leadership workshop series. As I mentioned at the beginning, I live in Atlanta. And so many schools, in fact, nearly everybody that's engaged me in the last year has engaged me through this program where I do 4 sessions for them spread out over the semester or on a single day. Some have done it on a single day, and it has been so popular. In fact, I have schools already booking this for the fall, schools that are going to be back in session. I'm willing to come in person, but I'm also willing to do this because I see the value of having it spread out so that the messages can be focused and the students can focus in on one topic, and then I can come back a few weeks later or a month later and present on something else. And that way they can soak in all of the information. And you can see here, I've got my pricing in Canadian dollars for you. I make that available to you so that we can have a conversation about me coming to your campus. And also, if you say, hey, you know what, we want 6, 7, 8, I have pricing for that. Or we only want 3, I've got pricing for that. So you can talk to me about that. If you book me for any sort of a program for your campus, I'll send you 25 copies of my latest book, Building Leaders Through Service, The Qualities of Visionary Leaders. It's based on that serving leadership program. And I talk about 15 areas of leadership that visionary leaders have. And so this has been a very popular book. I've sent out more than 2,000 copies of it since it was published for schools that have booked me over the course of the past year. I have a really special opportunity coming up in just a couple of weeks that you can engage in right now. On June 23rd, I'm going to be doing a retreat for student government leaders. I am looking at doing something a little bit later, maybe in July, for club and organization leaders. And I'm going to be bringing together 10 schools. Now, this is actually the second retreat. The first one's already filled. It's a week earlier. So this is the second opportunity for schools to come together and work collaboratively with other students in US and Canadian schools to learn from each other, to get best practices. I'll be doing 3 topics that I have talked about here: parliamentary procedure with a focus on student government, secrets of motivation and delegating authority, and being a positive force for change as a visionary leader. But there's also going to be a session about an hour long where you can work with other students from other colleges and universities. We'll get the student government presidents together, the vice presidents, the treasurers, the secretaries, and other roles that you have on your campus so that you can be in a breakout room and learn from each other. I'll have some topics for you to discuss, but it can be freewheeling and you get a chance to talk to students and learn from others and find ways to best serve your students, because I'm all about service. So you can sign up right here on this slide. I have a QR code. You can take a picture of that right now, pause it right here, get that bit.ly code, and it'll take you to a fillable invoice. It's a PDF where your school can register to participate in that retreat. If you want to pay by credit or debit card, email me and I will send you a specialized link, an individual link for your school to be able to do that. I really hope that you can participate in this or some of the other programs that I've talked about by having me come to your campus virtually, hybrid, or in person. Because I believe we can change the world by serving one life at a time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for participating in this virtual Student Life Summit. I look forward to serving your students.